Okay, so we are streaming. Mayor Wallace, you can call the meeting to order whenever you're ready. I'll start broadcasting. Is your videographer on?
He is, and he is ready to go. Thank you so much for the help, Ms. Boson.
No problem. So it looks like we have everybody on board.
We are still missing our Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay.
Nope, I see him. He's joining now.
Okay, so I'll go ahead. Are you ready for me to start the broadcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are on our end, yes.
So we are now streaming and recording. You can call the meeting to order.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. I will call the meeting of the Special Joint Session City Council and El Dorado County Board of Supervisors to order. Thank you all for joining us. If everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we're going to be doing things in just an interesting back and forth order today. So at this time, we will go to the city of South Lake Tahoe and ask if any council members have any changes to our agenda.
And
No.
Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to do
Sorry.
just a quick. I'm just going to do a quick
Roll
roll call. It
call.
wasn't on our list, so I'll just do
It's
a quick
not
roll
on the
call
list.
here. Just for
Going by
City
the
Council
list.
who's here today. Councilmember Bass,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Middlebrook,
Here.
Mayor Wallace,
Here.
and Council members Cregan and Friedrich are absent. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dawson?
Thank you. Can I get a motion from the El Dorado County Board of Supervisors to adopt our agenda?
Also move.
Second.
First by Supervisor Novosel, second by Supervisor Thomas. Supervisor Heidel, how do you vote?
We taking any public comment on the agenda? I'm a little surprised we're not, but
No, we'll be taking public comment on the individual items.
okay, all right. I vote aye.
Supervisor Turnbull, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Thomas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Parlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Novosel, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, so now we move on to our agenda. And I'm going to read the first item on the agenda. And for the city of South Lake Tahoe, it is under new business, 56-acre master plan. We are being asked to pass a motion supporting the city of South Lake Tahoe's commencement of environmental review on the draft 56-acre master plan as presented. And I will now turn over to El Dorado County.
Thank you. Item number 1 comes from the Chief Administrative Office recommending the board, 1, receive and file a presentation from the City of South Lake Tahoe staff on the 56-acre park master planning efforts, which will include the preferred site plan as well as one alternative for consideration. And 2, provide conceptual approval to explore the construction of the multi-generational center on the county-owned north side of the 56 acres as depicted in both concepts presented by the City of South Lake Tahoe staff and directed by the Chief Administrative Officer to schedule a closed session with the Board of Supervisors on May 4th, 2021 to discuss terms relative to the transfer of county-owned portions of the 56 acres from the county to the city.
So how we normally go into these is we have a presentation by our staff, and then we do clarifying questions from the board, then we go to public comment, and then we come back for discussion and or a motion. So I will hand it over to staff.
Good morning, Mayor Wallace, members of the City Council, and Board of Supervisors. Joe Irvin, South Lake Tahoe City Manager. Happy to be here with everyone this morning. I will be joined with this presentation from our planning manager, John Hitchcock, and design workshop consultants who are hired via contract with the city to conduct the 56-acre master planning, Steve Knowles and Ben Fish. Before I turn over the reins of the presentation to them, I again would just like to express my gratitude for all of us coming together at this joint meeting to have this important discussion. We look forward to working through the planning efforts and the development phases in the future of the 56-acre master plan. It is a critical piece of land in the middle of the city's limits. The city is linear in nature. A lot of locals have struggled for years to identify where the town center and the hub of the city is. And this is a piece of land that serves as the center of the city. There's residential neighborhoods surrounding it, close proximities to schools, recreation amenities, quick access to the lake. And it is a very exciting piece of land in the middle of the city that we're excited to be working on collaboratively with El Dorado County and the California Tahoe Conservancy. We envision the master plan will help us identify project site improvements, programming, and improvements to infrastructure in a multi-generational manner that serves the needs of South Lake Tahoe and El Dorado County residents. By way of background, the site is comprised of 4 parcels totaling 56.35 acres. 40.87 of those acres are owned by El Dorado County, and 15.48 of those acres are owned by the city of South Lake Tahoe. Hence the importance of this collaboration for this important site. Also, by way of background, on June 26th of 2020, the Tahoe Conservancy board adopted resolution 20-06-07, authorizing Proposition 68 grant funds to the city for the up to $425,000 to develop this master plan. Each of our respective boards, Mayor Wallace and Supervisor Novosel, serve on the California Tahoe Conservancy, and we're a part of that discussion, and we appreciate their leadership in helping the CTC bring that to our boards. With that being said, I would like to turn it over to John Hitchcock, our planning manager, who will initiate the PowerPoint presentation, and then he'll introduce our design consultants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arvind. Good morning, City Council members, our County Board of Supervisors, city staff, and county staff. For the record, John Hitchcock, Planning Manager with the Development Services Department. The item before you today is consideration of 56-acre master plan project. The project is a collaboration between the City of South Lake Tahoe, El Dorado County, and the California Tahoe Conservancy. It's our intent to develop a comprehensive master plan, to guide the transformation of this unique property into a signature recreation and civic space in the heart of South Lake Tahoe. As Mr. Irvin mentioned, funding for the master plan was provided by the California Tahoe Conservancy through a grant provided through Proposition 68. Our planning team, which consists of planning staff, El Dorado County staff, as well as our design workshop, has conducted 3 public workshops and numerous online stakeholder meetings. We've taken input via online surveys, and we also had in-person site visits to take input on this important master plan project. And we'll be presenting you today the master plan concept design for 56 acres for your consideration. After action by City Council and the Board of Supervisors, we will commence on the environmental analysis of the 56-acre project. A programmatic initial study is envisioned to be the appropriate environmental document for evaluation of the master plan pursuant to CEQA. I'd just like to mention that any subsequent project that is proposed, including the multi-generational recreation aquatic center, will be required to complete its own project level CEQA analysis, as well as the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency environmental analysis. It's anticipated that these analyses will tier off the programmatic level analysis that we're preparing for 56-acre master plan. And it's for schedule purposes, the final master plan environmental analysis, our analysis is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2021. With that, I will now turn it over to Ben Fish with Design Workshop to continue with the presentation of the master plan concept for your consideration. And with that, thank you very much.
Great, thanks, John. My name is Ben Fish with Design Workshop. I'm a landscape architect here. in Lake Tahoe, and we are helping facilitate the master plan process has been introduced by Joe Irvin and John Hitchcock. We did not start out to reinvent the wheel on this, but we really looked at building upon past success in here, such as the construction and planning and design of Lakeview Commons almost 10 years ago, Champions Plaza as well in the same area, improvements to the overall mobility that have been built in there with the Class 1 bike paths, and also looking at the past 2007 draft master plan and some of the program elements that were in the 2007 master plan, such as campground updates, improved crossings across Highway 50, community plaza spaces, adventure playgrounds, outdoor amphitheaters, and renovated or a new recreation and multi-generational center. With that, there are new opportunities since 2007 in the area, such as California Tahoe Conservancy's acquisition of Altamira project area along Lake Tahoe, providing additional public access to Lake Tahoe, mobility improvements at El Tahoe Boulevard along the South Tahoe Middle School, the new Boys and Girls Club as well, and really just to kind of framing the 56-acre project into the overall heart of the recreational center and civic area of South Lake Tahoe. With that, the first phase of the master plan would be the multi-generational aquatics and recreational center, which is currently in the planning and design phase. That would be the first implementation phase of the 56 acres master plan, and this is an enlargement of that area right now. And as I dig into the master plan itself, you'll see where that sits in here. And the program elements in there is aquatic, fitness, gymnasium, running track, community meeting spaces, multi-purpose spaces, kitchen and classroom spaces as well. How do the two projects relate? Well, the multi-generational center, like I said, is the first building or the first implementation project of the 56 acres master plan. And the 56 acre master plan provides the overall framework for the site, including the trails, the regional connectivity, the recreational uses, and civic uses. And our team is coordinating with the multi-generational recreation center for the location of the building and the uses in the outside of the building itself. Like John had mentioned, we have had a very robust public engagement process since last fall. We've had 3 public webinars pulling over 150 community members. We've had 1 on-site walking tour, which you can see in some of the photos on the left-hand side here, where we put these maps out and we had an app as well. And we really got a great community feedback during times of COVID for people to walk the site and give their input. And we had 2 online surveys taken by more than 200 community members. And we've had a series of stakeholder meetings throughout the process as well, with 10 focus groups, more than 10 focus groups giving their direct input. And in addition to that, we've had bi-weekly meetings with California Tahoe Conservancy staff, city staff, and El Dorado County staff, really to kind of, make sure this is a really great collaborative process since last fall. And so what have we heard? So this was, we really confirmed the program that would be shown in the master plan in the second public engagement window, in January of 21. And that program was community and civic spaces, trails and open space, play and gathering spaces, the renovated camping, and support uses such as parking and maintenance. And this program was, again, derived from what we heard from the stakeholders and from past planning studies. And more than 80% of the community felt very comfortable with these program elements. What we did is we took those program elements and then put them onto the site itself into, really starting to give some form or some space giving to where these program elements would lay within the site. And then in January as well, with both an online survey and a public webinar, we polled the community and the stakeholders and the staff groups. And, these are the results from the community. And 53% felt the civic spaces were shown best in this kind of central portion of the site. We also looked at the play and the gathering areas, and we asked the community and the stakeholders where they thought the play and the gathering spaces should be. And those were in concept 3, in which we had developed in January, which was really closely and coordinated with Lakeview Commons and a safe crossing there, and really an expanded play and gathering space in the heart of the 56 acre site. And again, on that third concept, we looked at vehicular circulation. And in the third concept, we had what we were calling a main street. And that essentially creates a four-way intersection at Tlac and Highway 50, goes through the site and really provides some nice connectivity to existing uses such as the ice rink, proposed uses such as the Civic Center and multi-generational center over to Rufus Allen Boulevard. And so we're looking at that Main Street concept as well, and the community really supported that. And then an overall concept is here. Again, that was that third concept. And then what we did is we came back to the community last month on March 31st for another public webinar. And, we started to take what we had in those program concepts back in January. And if you see on the right-hand side of your screen here, just started to develop the master plan concept itself. So, really giving truth to the width of pathways in here, the exact location, building program, and square footages of those. How many parking spaces are on here? What does the renovated camping look like? What does that Main Street look like? So this master plan concept, again, it shows that Main Street through the park, which can be closed for events. And I'll show this in some enlargements as we move on. The campground is relocated a little bit more to the south. So it gives, more of the public, if you will, the lake frontage over here. The civic uses are located in the center of the park. So as we have called right here in the Civic Center. That ties directly with a play and gathering space. So some linear adventure play, using landforms and the existing trees that are out there. And then also creating what we're calling the event lawn or the gathering space in here, which might not necessarily be a formal amphitheater, but something that can be used even when events are not happening there. The existing recreation center would potentially be repurposed for city and county government uses, and that is being looked at by both the city and the county in separate studies down in the lower right-hand corner of the site down here. That's the existing recreation center, now labeled as government facilities. And then the existing senior center, historical museum, cabins, and art league, they remain and they are upgraded into what we're calling a cultural hub, again, with better connectivity with Class 1 pass through there, enhanced landscaping, really playing upon what's going on with the arts and the culture there, the historical cabins that are being currently renovated, really making that a key asset of the 56-acre site. These are some character images of the open space and the trails connectivity. So, on the upper right-hand side, this is some of the existing Class 1 paths that have recently been built in the area, really providing safe connectivity to schools. That's actually my son going to school on that photo right there. And, connecting that with the 56-acre site and some of the neighborhoods in the area, what that could look like, playing upon some of the existing wayfinding that's been out there. Also looking at maybe like all season out here as well. What can we do to get people out here in the winter? Now shown on the right-hand side. This enlargement shows expansion of Lakeview Commons and Champions Plaza. So the second phase of Lakeview Commons is shown in the master plan, where we would extend Lakeview Commons over towards the California Tahoe Conservancy parcel of Altamira, maybe with an elevated boardwalk. We're a bit constrained there, but, really providing that mobility and the space and maybe some overlooks to the lake in there. Also, this master plan concept expands Champions Plaza itself. We have picked up overall parking within the 56-acre site, and we felt that expanding Champions Plaza and the public space in here is really a benefit to the community by removing those dozen or so parking spaces, keeping the boat launch as is, but again, expanding that public pedestrian space in there. And these are some example photos of what that extension of Lakeview Commons and expansion of Champions Plaza could be. So again, on the lower left-hand side here, you'll see that big kind of sea of asphalt that then could be reclaimed as pedestrian space. This enlargement shows the community civic, the play and the gathering spaces. So again, the multi-generational aquatics and recreation center, really being this hub of the energy in here, but then introducing a new civic center, which could be city hall, government uses, some other buildings, and creating a nice cultural, like a quad in here between, what's happening in the recreational center and what's happening in the civic center. And, expanding upon that landscape and, having that as a really nice pedestrian space while also tying in the library as well. And, really having this really nice kind of civic hub here between the three uses of the library, multi-generational center, and the civic center. Coming off of that, like I'd mentioned earlier, is the flexible event space, which has a really nice, strong backbone, if you will, that connects over to Lakeview Commons with enhanced pedestrian crossings at Highway 50. So, and then again, the adventure play, kind of nature adventure play, spanning that space across by the event space, and then also transitioning into more fitness play or outdoor uses by the multi-generational aquatics and recreation center. These are some example photos of what those spaces could look like. So you could picture these flexible spaces that, sometimes feel more civic, sometimes feel more community oriented in time, but, allow for programming and, maybe some fun play elements incorporated with them, but really keeping that kind of mountain vernacular that we all love here in Tahoe as well. Again, more examples of what the play spaces could be, play and gather spaces. So flexible use spaces that could be used to events, maybe to some more organized events. And then, these spaces that could flex when you have a large, maybe community event for an outdoor movie, but yet feel very comfortable when it's just 2 or 3 people that are just trying to claim a little bit of the outdoors for themselves and maybe sun and read a book or something. This shows the range of what could be for play in here, everything from adventure play, taking advantage of, maybe some natural elements, introducing some topography and landform in here, and also including fitness play, again, near the multi-generational center, interactive elements that maybe interpret what's going on in the site, the history and the past uses, again, playing on, maybe what happens also at, Taylor Creek is a great example that we all love as well. And maybe the inclusion for some small sports courts, such as pickleball, near the recreation center itself. This shows the main street. So on the lower left-hand side is Tlack Avenue at Highway 50 in Harrison. And so there's already a stop sign, a stop light there. And working with Caltrans, that could be a 4-way intersection and what we're calling Main Street with expanded on-street parking, new access to the renovated campground moving to the south, access to the library, multi-generational center, and civic center as well through this Main Street. And I'll show you a few examples of what that could look like to, really provide access and also provide another space for events that could be on site and, really be a cultural hub as well. This is a rendering that we did. This would be looking from Highway 50 into the site itself. You'd see a glimpse of the camping. On the left-hand side of this would be more of the public spaces in the recreation center and civic center. Again, that space could be shut down for events very well, and also still provide the access onto the site through Rufus Sound if the Main Street is closed for events. This next enlargement shows the camping. So we did lose in this concept, about 20 camping spots, but we figure with the renovated camping, we're really providing a better experience for most campers on site. So keeping the bulk of these as tent and RV sites, introducing a pod of camping cabins. There's the opportunity to do camping cabins elsewhere on the site in different loops as, funding or even the desire or, programming allows. Other sites, other state parks have been doing this that we've been seeing as well. So you have really a flexible framework here for the camping. And while we do this, it might allow for more all-season camping as well. So even though there's a few sites that have been removed from what is out there existing, there might be overall net gain of the number of camping nights per year available to the public. And again, these are some examples of what the camping sites could be, everything from yurts similar to what's at Fallen Leaf Lake to tent cabins that are similar to what's out there right now, camping cabins. This is an example in a nearby state park where they've been placing these camping cabins onto existing sites and using them year round. Then also traditional RV trailer sites and of course traditional tent sites as well. And this enlargement shows the city and county facilities in the ice arena. So there is the opportunity to expand the ice arena, add a second sheet of ice and kind of renovate the parking in there. And then what we're calling government facilities here on the lower right-hand corner is the existing recreation center itself. potential to repurpose those existing buildings and the potential to expand the ice arena there. And then finally, this last enlargement shows the cultural hub. So the existing senior center would remain in place. The existing Tahoe Art League building would remain in place. And then also the historic cabins and historic museum, potential to really like kind of expand on what's going on right there right now. Again, with, you know, what we're calling the cultural green, you know, that fronts to a really nice spine of, you know, enhancing that public bike and pedestrian path that comes through there, and, you know, really creating this really cool space that celebrates, you know, all that Tahoe has to offer more in a cultural hub, like we're saying in here. And this slide here shows a concept alternative, which would explore if we did not have a main street through the park. That would allow for some expanded parking, or sorry, not expanded parking, expanded camping and event and play spaces that are oriented towards Lakeview Commons. They shift a little bit further to the north there. And also we've reconfigured what we're calling the Civic Center, in that we do lose some parking from what would be in the overall master plan concept, because we had about 50 parking spaces on the main street. But those could be, you know, maybe looked at elsewhere on site. But that is the alternative as well that we were presenting. So we presented these concepts on March 31st, and we had a polling question during the public meeting with about 48 respondents, and 94% of them were comfortable moving forward with the master plan that you just saw, that I just presented here, while only 6% were not. And as John had mentioned, in the overall process and schedule of this, we are right now developing the preferred plan, you know, looking for approval on that before moving into the environmental review phase this summer for the entire master plan itself, which would be complete by the fall. And then again, that first phase of master plan implementation for the multi-generational recreation aquatics center would then happen in the winter of 22, with potential construction happening as soon as the summer of 2022. And with that, I think I will turn it back over to John, and we'll enter a question and answers phase.
Thank you, Ben, for that presentation. And with that, it concludes our presentation, and we can open up to any questions from the City Council and from the Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fish and Mr. Hitchcock.
Mayor Wallace?
Yes, Ms. Novosel.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the staff and you know, everyone involved in this project. As most of you know, I worked on the master plan as a citizen back in the days when we first took a look at what we could do with this area, and it really is truly a gem and a jewel for our community, for our city and for our county. And the fact that we can work together and collaborate on some new ideas here and move this forward is very exciting indeed. So just want to make sure everyone understands that from all accounts, our county is very excited about this. You know, there's a lot of details we still have to work out, yes, but I think the overall concepts here that are being presented are very worthy, and we're very excited to move forward. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any clarifying questions for the staff? Mr. Haidal?
Yes, thank you. I see on page 3 of the staff report, the master plan includes development of multiple things that we've seen in the presentation. The multi-generational recreation center and aquatic complex is clearly priority 1 as presented by the preliminary plan. But I'm trying to understand, when you talk about the civic center and the city facilities and other things, you've got a long list here, but what comes after the multi-generational facility? Has that been determined yet, or is that still a planning phase that'll occur in the future?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Urban.
Yeah, Mr. Hitchcock, I was going to say that is a part of the final master plan document that will outline phasing and implementation strategy. So still to come is information related to that. Okay. So then the prioritized list of what would be the second phase, the third phase, whatever would come out of that final document. All right, very good.
All right.
And I just want to echo Supervisor Novosels's comments, very well done, very well prepared. Like all the public feedback, I think it's been, greatly emphasized the need for this kind of facility, and I think the public is responding affirmatively to that. So appreciate it.
Any further questions for staff? Ms. Thomas?
Good morning. It's a privilege to be together today. And first of all, I wanted to thank Mr. Irvin and Mayor Pro Tem Middlebrook for giving us a tour last Friday. I cannot tell you how helpful it was to walk the site, to see the buildings firsthand, to see the Lakeview Commons from the lake, to look at what the opportunities are there. It really changed my whole framework as to how we proceed in understanding both the challenges and the opportunities before us. So I just want to thank you for facilitating that. It was incredibly helpful. And I echo my fellow supervisors' statements that, I see this as a game changer, certainly for the Tahoe Basin, as well as for county and city residents. It's a very exciting project, and it's a pleasure to work with you on this. So my question is, and maybe this is later, you mentioned in the current rec center that could be joint government facilities. What are the conversations thus far as to what types of city county government facilities might go in there? And if we don't see a need for those kinds of collaborative government facilities, what do you plan to do with that space?
In our in our conversations, we've had discussions. There's potential for maybe relocating, putting a potential fire station. There's been discussions, maybe a joint city council maintenance facility at the site. But those discussions continue. I don't think we've really finalized what potentially could go there at that point. But I believe we continue to have those conversations with county staff.
Okay. All right. And I guess my other question, it also relates to the senior center, which I know we're going to be talking about that later. You talk about upgrading the current senior center right now as a part of a cultural hub. If the county decides that senior programs can be well incorporated into the multi-generational facility, and the county decides that we don't want that building anymore, what do you see as going in there as part of a cultural hub? What's your vision for that?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that's part of the discussion. I think we need to continue having that discussion and potentially maybe have expansions of the existing cultural center. I know that there's the Art League is located there, the Historic Society there. So there potentially could be some opportunities to expand those two uses into that, upgrading and expanding that existing site to incorporate those two uses.
Okay, great. Certainly we have a lot of decisions ahead of us and a lot more conversations to be had. So congratulations on getting such a large buy-in on your master concept. That's quite impressive. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have a really general question, I guess. And thank you everyone for the tour on Saturday. It really was extremely helpful to be on site and see this on paper. It's really different. So thank you for that. I just don't understand, and this is just me, what's the difference, or what do you visualize as the difference between a civic center and the potential government center? What's the difference?
For the Civic Center, we see that as being would be potentially like City Hall and all the other government services like development services, public works, and bringing all the city offices into one location. Currently, right now, we're spread out throughout the city. And so we see that kind of being our Civic Center. And the government centers, we see more as, potentially maybe city maintenance facilities and other type of uses. But the true Civic Center where it would be where the public would come to the Civic Center to get government services. That's where we'd have our departments like City Hall, the planning department, Public Works, and all located in one location.
Okay. Got it. I'm just concerned, and I know we're just talking conceptually, of course, but depending on which plan you go with, is there enough parking for, if events can be so huge, and I'm just looking at this going, oh, it could get really, so, but I know that that's details and stuff. We're just talking conceptual. So, okay, thank you.
May I respond?
Sure.
Supervisor Carlin, that is part of our analysis, and we'll be looking at in detail as part of the environmental analysis itself and overall parking, because obviously we do need to provide adequate parking for all the uses on site, and that will be analyzed as part of environmental analysis and also will be brought forward in the final plans.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, that'll come out in the studies and stuff, because we definitely don't want parking to spill out beyond the project. That would, right. Okay, very good. Thank you.
That is correct.
Mr. Sherbrooke?
That was my concern, is parking, because looking at this, you're going to lose a lot of the parking across the street from this adjacent site. So that was the only concern I have. And this is a great program and you guys put together. It's awesome. It really is. So hopefully we can work together in the future and it'll benefit all. So thank you.
Mr. Bass or Mr. Brindlebrook, do you have anything? Okay, I believe Ms. Dawson will be handling public communications.
Yes, thank you. Now taking public comment on item number 1 for the El Dorado County Board of Supervisors and the City Council, South Lake Tahoe City Council, item number 1. Please make sure you unmute yourself when called upon. Individuals will have 3 minutes to address the board and the council. If you're joining the meeting by phone, press *9 to indicate a desire to comment. If you're joining by Zoom, press the raise hand button. Please voluntarily state your name for the record. Now taking public comment from Steve Teixeira.
Good morning, members of the City Council and El Dorado County Board of Supervisors. Steve Teixeira speaking on behalf of Tahoe Chamber. It's great to see you all in another joint meeting on this very exciting project. We would like to add our commendations for the work that's been done to date. The public outreach, particularly during the COVID situation, has been outstanding. And we always appreciate the opportunity to work closely with the design workshop and the partners that you have putting this plan together. We've really been impressed with the engagement of the community and think you're on the right track moving forward. It's an exciting opportunity, as has been stated, for the city and the county, as well as the whole basin. So continue on, and we support the effort and will remain engaged as the chamber. Thanks very much.
Now taking public comment from David Gregorich.
Good morning, City Council, Board of Supervisors, staff, and everybody. I'm David Gregorich, representing the City of South Lake Tahoe's Parks and Recreation Commission. The 56 acres is a wonderful site. It's where you turn the corner and the lake explodes into view. There are so many opportunities for public recreational and civic uses benefiting residents and visitors alike. The commission has supported the related and concurrent planning processes for both the 56-acre master plan and the new South Lake Tahoe Recreation and Aquatics Center. There's been robust public participation and tremendous progress has been made. In the aughts, the city and county and various other partners and stakeholders cooperated in the design and construction of the Lakeview Commons on the lakefront portion of this site. The current process would allow further public improvements over the entire site. So the city and county once again have a chance to work together, and we encourage the City Council and Board of Supervisors to provide their support and authorization for this planning effort to move on to the next phase. Thank you.
There's no additional public comment.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. I'm going to now bring it back to the City Council for further discussion and or a motion on our item. Mr. Bass, Mr. Middlebrook?
Sure, yeah, I'll put forward a motion. Let's see that I'll put forward a motion supporting the City of South Lake Tahoe's commencement of an environmental review on the draft 56-acre master plan as presented.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say that thank you staff for the detailed presentation. We've had a lot of those, and I agree the walking tours this last week were very helpful for everyone, and it was great to see some of the supervisors in person after not seeing anyone for over a year. That was really great to do. I really see this project and this vision with the 56 acres and the multi-generation facility as delivering on promises that we've made to the voters to create a vibrant midtown in our community. It's going to benefit everyone that lives on the South Shore, not just city residents. And the motions set forward today are really that critical next step in answering some of the questions that were brought up today about specific uses and alternative uses and parking management strategies. This really is that step that's enabling us to answer those questions. So really do appreciate this meeting and look forward to moving this project forward.
Thank you, Mr. Middlebrook. I too would like to say thank you for those of you who were able to make it up this weekend. It was a great opportunity to show you guys boots on the ground, what this project really means to our community. And it was nice getting to see all of you, meet some of you for the first time in person, and show you our community. So unless Mr. Bass has anything to add.
I would just echo all those comments, and I think it's great for, this is the first step of us working together on many different projects, I think, and it's great to be working together.
Yeah, we look forward to collaborating with you on the rest of this project. So Ms. Blankenship, with that, will you please take the vote?
Of course, Mayor, thank you. Councilmember Bass?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Middlebrook?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
That motion carries.
Thank you very much. And I will turn it over to you, Chair Heidel, and you can do your work.
Mayor Wallace, we have item number 1 on our agenda. Do we have a motion supporting this?
I will.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go
ahead, Supervisor.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, I will move this item, and I do want to comment and say thank you all. Obviously, we have a lot of conversations, but this is a great start, and I'm very excited about all the possibilities. So with that, I do move the item.
I will second it.
All right, Kim, roll call, please.
Sure. Motion by Supervisor Novosel, second by Supervisor Thomas. Supervisor Heidel, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Turnbull, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Thomas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Parlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Novosel, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Very good. And then the Board of Supervisors has a second item that I'm not sure if the city wants to stay online with this or whether you want to adjourn your part of the meeting. Want to stay on with this? All right, very good. So we'll just continue. So Kim, if you would read item number 2, please.
Of course, Supervisor Heidel. Item number 2 comes from Health and Human Services Agency in conjunction with the Commission on Aging, recommending the board approve the reallocation of all senior services currently provided in the Senior Center in South Lake Tahoe to the city's new building referred to as the Multi-Generational Center, and direct staff to have further discussions and negotiations with city staff regarding the use of space, design layout, and other critical factors as identified to ensure the needs of the senior community are clearly defined and addressed.
Very good. So I presume Don Simone may be leading this one.
Good morning, Don Simone, Director of Health and Human Services. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, you're fine, Don.
Okay. So as Kim said, this item is my recommendation in conjunction with the Commission on Aging, recommending the board approve the relocation of our senior services that are currently provided up in South Lake Tahoe in the Senior Center to the city's new facility that we have been referring to as a multi-generational center once it has been constructed, and direct staff in this same item to have further discussions and negotiations with the city staff regarding use of space, the design layout, and other factors as identified to ensure of the senior community are clearly defined and addressed going forward. So with that, I will leave it to you guys.
I thank you. So questions or comments from board members?
I just had a comment, just really thank you everyone for taking a step back and listening to our Commission on Aging when they, raised some concerns and felt that the process had kind of moved forward a little bit quicker than everybody realized right there, to say that we were going to move services over to this new facility that we didn't even know what it was going to look like at that time. And so I think that the increased communication really made it possible for the commission to feel comfortable with that recommendation. And I cannot thank you enough for taking that extra effort. It's just made a world of difference. So thank you. And that communication is going to be key as we move forward. So thank you for that.
I guess I have a comment as well, and this goes to Dawn. In our discussions, when we did the facility tour and stuff, we found out that there's an organization that's been longstanding for seniors representation in South Lake Tahoe called Senior Inc., and that they evidently have a desire to continue to have some of the services that they're currently involved with continue to be provided from that existing senior center. So my question is of you, were you able to engage with that group, and did they basically decide that no, it's better to relocate everything into the new multi-generational facility? Did you get closure on that?
So Supervisor Novosel, do you want to respond, because she
Thank
was
you.
yeah.
Okay.
I had my hand up, John. And I don't think you saw me, but
I didn't see you.
that's all right. That's all right. So I want to thank Mayor Wallace for helping facilitate a meeting we had with Senior Inc. to discuss these issues. And I think it was a really great meeting. Really appreciated the conversations. And I appreciate the Commission on Aging. Their second page of their comment letter explains some of the issues and more just concerns moving forward, such as what programs would move forward and which would possibly stay. And I think, frankly, I think the conversation ended up being that everybody was comfortable with the county-run programs moving over to the multi-generational, and then looking at what we could do with the existing senior center. And that's going to be a conversation that I think everyone understood is going to be a conversation we have down the line on what we possibly could do, or as Supervisor Thomas alluded to, if there's other uses, what would make sense for that area. So we did have a very good conversation. I really appreciated their comments back. And I think moving forward, this is the first step. Certainly, I think everyone understands, and I did want to clarify this, that we're talking about our county-run services moving over to multi-generational, and that we are still looking at other possibilities for the existing senior center, as Senior Inc. was very concerned about. Dawn, is that kind of pretty much wrapped up what I got out of the conversation? And Tammy, Mayor Wallace. Okay, thank you.
So if I add the words of all county-run senior services, that's the definitive.
Yeah, I would ask that we clarify that, we stipulate that, because I don't want anybody to get confused that everything's moving over there. Obviously, Senior Inc. has other programs that they still have interest in looking at how to work on.
Very good. Thank you for the commentary. Appreciate
Thank
that. Any other board comment? Wendy, you got your hand up.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, couple of questions. So just to clarify, the county is not responsible for Senior Inc. at all, right? That's completely a city organization, community organization, right? Okay, got it. In walking through the current senior center, boy, that's a funky space. And boy, the seniors, bless their hearts, that is really challenging. And my understanding is they currently have no staff whatsoever to support them in their programs, do they? Wow. So my question is, in the new location of the multi-generational facility, will there be staff to support the seniors? I see some nods by Mayor Wallace.
Do you mind if I address that? Or maybe Mr. Irvin should address that?
Either's fine.
I would just say that our programming for the multi-generational facility does include senior staff addition to support senior programs in programming of all the space.
Wow, that will be a huge help. I guess I probably have a further question for you. Is how difficult will be for the different senior programs to program the space in the multi-generational facility? Specifically, will they have set hours where the space is theirs alone? Or do they have to compete with other, rec programs for space?
Yeah, Supervisor Thomas, that's a great question. And the way I've worked it so far in concept with our Parks and Recreation Director and our multi-generational planning team is that we would create a program and a priority scheduling matrix that we would evaluate, on an annual basis to work with all of the senior program and county programs to make sure that those are prioritized first. And then we would work down through our group of stakeholders. And that would be something we do on an annual basis to make sure that space is available for those specific users at the times they expect it without conflict.
Okay, great, super. And my last question is, how do the proposed hours of operation for senior programs in the new facility differ from the current senior program?
I will take a first attempt at this, and Don Simone may be able to add some helpful information perhaps. But it's our understanding that the amount of programming that was occurring at the existing senior center prior to COVID was about 35 hours per week. And that was Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., something like that. And the new multi-generational facility programming schedule outlays 7 days a week for a total of 93 hours. So threefold is the amount of staff support that is being built into this new multi-generational facility.
Wow, well, that's quite impressive. Fabulous. That's it for me now. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick, I just do want to carry on. I do think it's really important that we're hearing promises about programming and how that would work, and that we make sure we get this in writing. And no offense to the city, but or county, we do need to make sure that we have some sort of MOU or some sort of written statement set about what these priorities are and how we move forward. And this is all a part of the conversation we'll be having, obviously, when we have our May 4th meeting talking about possibly moving the rec center. So just want to make sure everyone's very comfortable with that this is going to be something that's going to have to be in writing, that we have these especially the programs down, so we understand the priority moving. And then, because this is going to take a while, future boards and city councils understand that where the priorities lay and the promises we've made to our community. Thank you.
Very good. Any other supervisor comments or questions? All right, seeing none, any city council members who would like to raise a question or comment at this point before we open it up to public? All right, seeing none. Kim, would you please open this up to public comment, please?
Of course. Now taking public comment on item number 2 of the El Dorado County Board of Supervisors agenda. Please make sure you unmute yourself when called upon. Individuals will have 3 minutes to address the board. If you're joining the meeting by phone, press *9 to indicate a desire to comment. If you're joining by Zoom, press the raise hand button. Please voluntarily state your name for the record. Now taking public comment from Kathy Lishman.
Good morning, Kathy Lishman, Chair of Friends of Seniors in Placerville and El Dorado County on the Western Slope. This is so very exciting. And I know there was some concern about what was going to be in the building. I think the coordination of the Commission on Aging and the Senior Inc. is absolutely incredible and very necessary at moving forward. And I was just hoping that there was going to be a way that the Senior Inc. and the Commission on Aging would collaborate together, and as I'm sure there is. But I just wanted to say what a fabulous program. Even the item 1, just it's so exciting. And thanks very much for all the hard work and people working together for the benefit of the whole community, including seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
There's no additional public comment.
All right, so this is a direct staff to go ahead and proceed type of item on the agenda. So I'm not seeing any additional comments from board members or Don Simone, do you feel you've got adequate direction? We need to just continue the course and develop the plans and make sure that, as Sue mentioned, I think something in writing ultimately is developed in terms of an MOU or something of that type, not a contract, but an agreement of some kind, right?
Yeah, as long as the board is comfortable us moving forward with, at least conceptually at this point, moving our senior services into the multi-generational center once it is built, we can get in writing to Supervisor Novacell's point, the details of that in the future.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. And Chairman Heidel, I would like to make this to move this item, if everyone's comfortable, with the addition of the comment of where it says recommending the board approve the relocation of all senior services, adding provided by El Dorado County, just so we're very clear on that. And so with that, I'd like to move that item.
I'd like to second that. That's a good clarification.
All right, with that, a roll call, please, Kim.
Supervisor Heidel, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Turnbull, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Thomas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Parlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Supervisor Novacell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Excellent. So again, I just want to thank everyone for their participation. This has been kind of the next phase, so to speak, of our collaborative efforts together. And we look forward to many more discussions as this project evolves and gets defined and stuff. But I think we're off to a really good start in terms of the interaction that's happened between the city and the county, particularly at the staff level. Because I know that our Parks and Recreation manager has been involved with discussing various aspects of the project with your staff as well. And I just think that's a wonderful way to approach this. So everybody is aware of what's going on. We all work together, row together at the same time, if you will, to make this happen on the public's benefit. So thanks again for all the participation. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 9:58 a.m. Perfect timing. So less than an hour. Thank you all.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.